Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is Monday and it's a little update on how I'm feeling. 5 DPO but currently bleeding. So yesterday I let you know that I'd started bleeding on cycle day 19, which was totally unreal and unexpected. Never had it before, too early for a miscarriage. Not the right sort of thing for implantation, because that implantation bleeding would have been a lot lighter, different texture, different colour, and it would have been 6 DPO to 12 DPO. So I knew it wasn't implantation, definitely not miscarriage, and I knew it was far too early really for my period. But anyway, I was bleeding, very worried. I used probably in total 4 massive nighttime pads yesterday. I was literally changing them every 2 to 3 hours. Felt every time I stood up or bent down or did anything strenuous like raised my voice or bent down to get something, it was coming out quite a lot. So I relaxed in the evening, peppermint tea, burnt some rosemary just to try and chill out. And I was Googling some things that it could have been. But in the back of my head, I thought this is either going to be vitamin overload, because I've been taking a prenatal vitamin quite happily since August last year. Nothing like this has happened before, but as you know, because of ovulating slightly late, the cycle before last, and my miscarriage that I had in end of January, beginning of February, that is why I thought I'd take some B6 in a low dose just to sort of up my progesterone level and get things in a bit of a happier balance for me. I knew taking a low dose wouldn't be that detrimental to my health. It might just boost me. I was also taking my vitamin C up until 1 DPO. But I think it was either a vitamin overload in my head. Then I thought it could be still my body recovering from a miscarriage, because some people it does take up to 6 months to recover. But where my miscarriage was only at 7 weeks, I did think I've not had a operation after. It's not been like I've miscarried at 10, 11 weeks. So I did think it probably wasn't that, because I have had my periods regular since March. They've always been the 28 day or just onto a 29 day. So in my head I thought vitamin overload, maybe recovering from the miscarriage, or stress and anxiety like from everything that I've been doing, which I told you guys, I've had so much going on with school changes, lots of forms and all things like that. So they were my 3 points in my head which I was thinking this blood could have been caused from. But then I was thinking, I was thinking they might be the reasons why I'm bleeding, those 3 points. I googled it and it did say that you can bleed in between a cycle for those reasons that I've just said, but also it can be if you've just started your periods and a young girl. If you're premenopausal, you can have irregular bleeds from the ages of like 35, it can happen. And also there was things like infections, cancer and serious stuff as well. I haven't felt any lumps or bumps, haven't had any discharge that's been untowards in colour or smell, haven't had any blood in my stools. So I was pretty much thinking, I don't think this, thank God, is cancer. I didn't think that. My point was, where was the blood coming from? Was it a vaginal bleed? Was it a uterus bleed? Where was the blood coming from? That was my big thing that I was worried about, because it didn't look like, sorry if this is TMI, but it didn't look like period. You know, when a period starts, it's heavy, but it's quite a thick consistency, I think. Quite a thick, clotty blood. Well, not clots, I don't mean clots, but it is a thicker blood, I think. Well, mine is. I'm normally quite light for a few hours, then it gets to that thicky blood. It's quite heavy for a day or two, then medium. I know my cycles. This was just literally light for about half an hour, and then it was like someone was literally getting a cup and going shoo, shoo. And every time I stood up and did something strenuous, I could feel it like pouring out of me. And I was changing my pads, like I say, every 2 to 3 hours. I did keep a pad on for 3.5 hours yesterday when we cruised off out. And I was literally, I need a shower and change. Through the night, went to bed about 10:30 in the evening, got up about 12:30 and changed. And then I got up about 3:30 in the morning and changed it as well. And I couldn't get back to sleep through worrying. And then I was, like I say, stupidly Googling things, texting a few of my friends who knew I was going through this, thinking, what have I done wrong? And then also I had in the back of my mind, am I going to come on my cycle as usual in I'm day 20 today on my cycle, so will I be having this and then coming on again? So your comments have been an utter lifesaver. This is why we do these TTC channels. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, because this is what I'm on about. You got me through a crap day yesterday with all your, yes, this has happened to me, or maybe it could be you're taking too much vitamin, or maybe you should relax on certain things. It all helped me and it made me feel so much better. I think if I didn't have you guys to read the comments and reply to and talk to, I think I would have been a lot worse off. So I wrote down all my feelings yesterday, did the video to you guys, and I wrote down those 3 points of what I thought it might be: stress and anxiety, miscarriage, or overload of vitamins. And then I booked myself a doctor's appointment. And because of my age, because I'm young with 5 dependent children, they did see me straight away because I said it was mid-cycle bleeding that was really heavy. And as soon as I said it was too early for a period, too early for a miscarriage, they were quite eager to see me, which was nice. So I got in at 10 o'clock this morning and I took my diary in along with my prenatal vitamins that I've been taking, just so that I could tell them what I've been doing. Anyhow, I went in there, saw my lovely doctor. I normally have one of 2 doctors, and I did manage, luckily, by chance, to get a lady doctor, which I prefer with things like this, I've got to be honest. She said, we actually have got one little time slot with your doctor, which doesn't often happen here. It's like if you do get a doctor's appointment, you've got to be really grateful. And I was just really lucky. I phoned bang on 8:30 and I didn't care what appointment I got given, just as long as it was ASAP. And yeah, she was amazing. I took in my listen, because mummy's chatting. I took in my diary and the vitamins, showed her how I've been logging all my period cycles, that we've been TTCing. I told her everything, that we've been TTCing since September, about the miscarriage, everything. She, in a nutshell, said, I'm not worried because it's a one-off bleed that you've had. I see ladies of all ages having mid-cycle bleeds. She said it's not, believe it or not, it's not that unusual. And I said, oh, right. And she said, and it's not always the 40, 50, 60-year-olds that come in like this. She said, I see a lot of people who are younger. She said a mid-cycle one-off, if it happens once or twice, we're not too bothered. If you came to me and it's been like 4 consecutive months in between periods and it's really heavy, then I would say, can we scan you, make sure it's not a cyst on your ovaries, which would be what she would be thinking if it was constant. So I sort of said, no, it's definitely one-off. I said, the other thing is that I've taken B6 in this low amount with magnesium. She said, I'm not a nutritionist, so I don't know a huge amount about vitamins. I know B6 is a good one to take when you're hormonal, and people do. She said, but if you've already got that in a multivitamin, it might be that you're overdoing it a bit if you're already sourcing it and getting it from food. She said, but I'm not, my expertise isn't vitamins, but that is a very good point that you've raised. So yes, it might be good to sort of maybe cut it out and see what happens. And then I told her how I experienced 3 days after taking B6, a little cramping that lasted 3 hours that was really painful. And she said it seemed strange that I took that and 72 hours later felt like that. So she said it could be the vitamins. And she said, you seem so in tune with your cycle. You've got it all written down when you ovulate. And she did say to me, it just sounds you know your body so well. And she said, I can see on your doctor's report you had bloods and everything done just over a year ago. And she said everything was spot on and you look very healthy. How do you feel? Are you in pain? Have you got any discharge? I said, no, apart from my CM that I get when I'm TTCing and I monitor, I've had no foul smelling, untoward discharge. I've not got any lumps, nothing. It's just that I woke up bleeding. It was severely heavy. I got panicked. It's carried on this morning. It's easing up a little bit, but I still have, like today, I'm on my second pad, which isn't too bad. I got out the shower at 6 o'clock and put one on, and I've just changed it now and it's 1:30. So it has eased up a bit, which I'm grateful for. But I said to her, I've sort of had a night pad on from like 4 o'clock and I've changed it after the shower, but I don't feel it's as heavy as yesterday, but it is like a lot more than a period. I said a period would be what, 6 teaspoons of blood or a little espresso cup of blood maybe. She said, yeah, about an espresso cup of blood maybe at the most. I said this was like a mug of blood, it felt like. And she went, yes, because it's happened once, it's scary. She said, I can assure you it won't be blood from the uterus, it won't be blood from an injury like the cervix. She said it wouldn't. She said it wouldn't be that sort of blood. She said if it was a bruised cervix, it might be spitty spotty. She said if it was uterus bleeding, it would be totally different. You'd be excruciated with pain, along with if it was vaginal. She said vaginal bleeding is normally when you've had the baby or other things. She said I am perfectly confident in saying this is a mid-cycle bleed that can happen, a one-off. And she said she's happy to say that the blood is coming from the womb, so like the lining. And I just said, what do you think's caused it? And she said, it can be stress, it can be overdoing it, it can be just one of those things. But she says it's not as unusual as I think it is. And she said, because you're always having 28, 29-day cycles, you're very fortunate in that you know your body, and it's just that it's thrown everything off kilter, which it has, and it's worried me. And she said, because I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, you know, I'm really like good with my health. She said, I don't really see any flag points to bring a scan up at the moment. She said, what would you like to do? And I said, well, would it be worth me having my bloods done to see if I'm deficient in a vitamin like iron, maybe fatigued or something like that, or magnesium I might be lacking in? She said, that's what we'll do. She said, we can literally do a blood test without fasting in the next few days when they've got an appointment free, where she can test me for my B and D vitamins and iron. And she said, I'll get my results back within a few days, and would I be up for that? And I said, yeah, that's brilliant. So I booked in for that, and then I said, would I need to see her? And she said, why don't I just book you in 4 to 6 weeks time for a chat? And I said, well, shall I see how my blood results go first? And she said, let's do that. Have your blood results. I'll ring you and tell you what they are. If they're a bit untoward, we'll meet up and chat. If they're fine, we'll just go from there. She said, but I have a feeling you might just have a pit. She said, I think you won't. She said, my gut feeling is you probably won't have a period now this month because you've lost a lot of blood. But if you do, you do. She said, but I think you're out for trying this month because you've lost so much blood. And I said, I sort of knew that. She said, oops, sorry, my phone fell. Yeah, so she said, you're probably out for trying this month, but she said probably by the end of July, beginning of August, you'll have your period again and be ready to try. She said, I might even see you and you might say you're pregnant. And I said, do you think I've got anything to worry about? She said, I really don't think it's anything alarm bells like menopause, cancer, anything like that. She said, I'm perfectly happy to say it's just one of those things, a mid-cycle bleed. And she said, I do see ladies that have it just once or maybe twice and then they're absolutely fine. And that's what happened. So I'm quite pleased. I didn't sleep at all. Shush, 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 shush. I didn't sleep at all last night. I was so worried and anxious, wasn't I? Oh, go and have a look what's on TV and I'll play with you. I was so anxious last night. I had like almost a bubbly tummy where I felt so anxious and on edge with it all. I was worried and that didn't help. It made me feel worse. But now I feel really in control. So plan of action is I am stopping the vitamin B6, just taking my prenatal vitamin. I am getting over this bleed, hopefully in the next day or two. She thinks it might ease off tomorrow. She said it probably will be that you won't bleed as long as a period. But she said it probably where I've lost a lot of blood, it might be today and tomorrow and then stop. So I literally am going to... Bye-bye. Bye-bye, good girl. I'm literally going to monitor the blood, keep taking notes, leave it maybe a week and then start doing my APKs. But I'm happy to say I'm gonna leave off the extra supplement for me. Although it's worked with my friend Zoe, she feels really happy on it. She said, do you know what, it's really boosted her. She feels a bit more awake and she said it's helped her because of her miscarriage. She feels it's made her balance really nice. And then my other friend who I've given it to, she sort of said, yeah, it's definitely working for her. But I don't think it worked for me. I don't think it's working. I think it's too coincidental that I had those cramps 72 hours after taking it and then 3 weeks later my cycle's all gone wrong. So I think it's safe to say I had enough vitamins in me from my whole food and from the Pregna Care that I'm taking. So like, you know, it's these things that we try. It hasn't caused me any, like, I'm not dead, am I? I've still got plenty of time to try for a baby, but it's just upset me a bit because we were so on it. I've ordered more digital ovulation sticks today. They should be with me in a day or two. So what I'm going to do is just monitor the blood, take notes as I can of how it's going. Hopefully this bleeding will stop in the next day or two. Keep my vitamins up with my food and make sure I'm eating healthily. And I'm going to start doing APKs next week. That's what I'm going to do. I am seriously thinking about getting an Ava bracelet. A lady on here sort of said how good they are, but I might still give this 2 more cycles of trying because Ava bracelets are really seriously expensive and, you know, it's just £200 where I can justify that at the moment. I might give it a shot of just doing it my way for another month or 2, then look into it. But I do appreciate that advice. I do think it's great. And with an Ava bracelet, you haven't got to keep still with like the temping. It does it for you. So that is good if you're an on-the-go person or you work evenings and you know, if you work nights and sleep in the day or you've got to get up to other kids. Ava bracelets do seem the way forward, but yeah, it's a big expense for me at the moment. And my husband did sort of say, look, we've only just spent out on all the vitamins. Why don't we just, it's one of those things, freak of nature. Let's just get on with it. So yeah, plan of action is that. So I'm upset, obviously. Thank you all for your advice. Thank you for your kind words. And I suppose these are all set to trials, and hopefully there's people out there who, if they unfortunately have a bleed like me, they can Google 4DPO bleeding, and hopefully my chat that I put on yesterday with all of your comments, it's going to help other people. So let's keep that TTCing tree of support growing. I've made so many lovely friends now. Amber is amazing too. Sorry if that cut out. Amber, my friend, who's got a lovely vlog going, she's amazing too. She's TTCing her second. And there's Rainbow Mama. There's all loads of you out there who give such good advice. So love to you all. Please subscribe. And yeah, I'll let you know how my bloods go. I'm in for blood on Friday, and I should get my results back by Tuesday. And if it shows that I'm deficient in something like iron, maybe I can nip it in the bud. But hopefully, fingers crossed, all will be well. And I'm up to date with all my smears and everything, so they seem not worried about my general health, which is great. And she's not worried about my age. She's not worried about me having problems conceiving. And she did say, you're blooming crazy having 6, and laughed. She said, but your kids are all lovely. And I went, thank you. And it made me feel better. So I feel much better now. I've seen my GP. So yeah, happy Monday to you all, and stay safe. And I will give you an update probably in the next few days. Love to you all, and thank you so much. Remember to ping on notifications. It'll let you know when I do my next video, and hopefully I'll be doing live OPK testing soon. And fingers crossed, I hopefully will have that water sign baby, or maybe an April baby now. Love to you all. Thank you so much. Bye.